check in, my children! It's been a long trip. You've traveled so far, need to get some rest. So why don't you take that little detour off the road of Route 66 and check into the Pioc Hotel. Meet Jack Lynch, the owner and manager of the Pioc. Everyone that comes to the motel has a story. Personal quests, private wars, individual terrors. And thus Hotell serves as a little anthology of those terrors, each issue talking about some guests, with some overlap. Let us first begin on the weekend of the solar eclipse, as we meet Alice, a pregnant woman fleeing from her abusive husband. As she sleeps in room 1, she has dreams of not only the abuse she suffered, but of her unborn child speaking to her, promising to protect her from him. Although when she awakens, she finds blood from her breast and feeling rather weak. She meets her neighbor in room 2, who claims to be alone and offers to spend time with her, though he is shocked to find his wife waiting for him in his room. But enough about him, more dreams. One dream is of her abusive husband driving along in his car, only for her baby to appear in the backseat and rip out his eyes. And we see that she is not alone in her room, a small creature who wants to take the place of her baby. While she fears that killing it might harm her baby, she cannot help but snap the thing's neck to try to protect herself and her child. And as the eclipse begins, the motel is on fire and her eyeless husband arrives, and she presents him with the dead demon as his son. So everyone gets what they want! I love a happy ending! Jack Lynch warns us not to travel the path behind the hotel. It will take you to a bad place. Some say the hotel itself is a bad place, but he thinks the bad is what you bring with you. That being said, there is an ominous black rabbit that appears throughout this issue, so maybe there is something bad here? Anyway, Alice's room neighbor, Bobby, arrives at the Hotel Pioc with his very talkative wife, Muriel. They're taking a secret vacation. Everyone at Bobby's work thinks he's at home sick. They take a trip down the dark path behind the hotel, finding a little rainbow oasis in the water when Bobby realizes that this spot will be perfect for where to hide Muriel's body. That night, he poisons her and gloats about how much he hated her, all the while hearing some kind of scratching noise in the walls, then proceeds to chop up her body, stuff it into 2 suitcases, and dump them in the lake. However, after he meets Alice, his wife is alive and well back in the hotel room. She knows he poisoned her, but has no recollection of being chopped up, even when he does so a second time. She just reassembles herself right in front of him and carries on as if nothing happened. He admits later that he was just bored of their relationship and wanted out, but thought a divorce would be too costly for him. She's pissed because that was plan A. You don't just chop someone up because you want to avoid litigation. He's clearly a sick man. Still, they agree that something weird is happening, so they go to dredge up the suitcases to see if her remains are still in there. However, when they pull up the suitcase, there's some kind of green blob creature inside that drags Bobby into the suitcase. And Muriel is only too happy to let him sink back into the water. I think the weirder part about all this is that her clothes reassembled along with her body. Jack Lynch can hear the scratching in the walls too. He wonders what else can be held in a wall. A memory, perhaps? That's what some people think ghosts are. Bad, evil things that have been soaked up by the walls of a house. A stain on a place like wine on carpet. Let's meet the last occupant of this room, Kristen Clements, who actually sought out the Pioc. She's looking for her sister, Lisa, who was a kidnapping victim of a notorious serial killer named Wilbur Finch. The only man to survive Finch fled the Pioc, though the police could not find the hotel when they sought it out. Eventually, Kristen finds it and the room that Lisa was held in, though Jack Lynch warns her not to stay, that this place is not kind to those in pain. A ghostly vision of Lisa points at the wall and warns her that she should not have come, that she needs to leave. Kristen at first thinks she might have been pointing at the room next door, but no, it's just a man taking care of his very unwell son. Soon she discovers a trapdoor leading to hidden tunnels between the walls, scratches on the surface on hidden windows that let her see Alice be fed on by the demon baby, or Muriel thinking that she should have an extended stay in the hotel. And sadly, she finds the remains of her sister between rooms, chained to a wall, and Wilbur Finch, now more demon than man, who chains Kristen up next to her dead sister.
who turns and looks at her.
Well, it's not all bad. At least Lisa has someone new to talk to.
Jock Lynch informs us that even if we want to leave the hotel, we won't be. Everyone who says they're leaving just doesn't or ends up back in the hotel's black orbit. Piero Court is where people get their moment, where they can take a stand against whatever demons brought them there. But then after the confrontation, they either leave or they don't.
Then again, that's kind of true of any place, isn't it?
David Alvarez and Father Villalobos are convinced that David's son, Cody, is possessed by a demon. The doctors think he's just bipolar and sick, and Cody tries to convince them that this whole thing is crazy. But of course we soon learn that indeed Cody is possessed, knowing things he should not, and not trying to scream for help when Kristen came to their door. You see, it knows that the hotel is a place of power, of evil, and it uses that power to burn Father Villalobos to death right as the solar eclipse hits. But that's the thing about this place of evil. It's already occupied by a spirit resembling the clown Piero. It dispatches David and sucks out the demon possessing Cody. Outside, as Alice gives the demon baby to her abusive husband, Piero breathes new life into it and shoves it down the abuser's throat. It leaves Alice alone as she finds Cody, demon-free, and flees with him. Muriel, still in her room, speaks to Finch through the wall. He seems like a good listener after all. And the hotel continues on as it must. They had some new arrivals, some guests decided to stay on, and a couple checked out.
That's the thing about hotels. People come and go, and it's such a shame to see them leave. But it's not too long before another story begins.